Let's just not draw this out any longer than it has to be drawn out. It's good to be back, Chelsea. Let's bring in our friend Jason Scott, Vice President of Trading for BetMGM. He's in charge of setting the lines and the prices at the book, and he joins us each and every Monday. Jason, Chelsea says it's not close, and then I'm a moron. Who is your MVP?
I don't think it is close. It is Tatum, but I'll give you a second. I thought Otani was second. I get excited when guys do it both ways.
Yeah, so exact words. We all are in agreement here that it's Jason Tatum and Jenks is a moron, right? But let's talk about that Nets game for just a second. Jason, the Nets were getting 4.5 points, and the sleeping giant in the East, obviously out of the first round series, I think this is the most exciting one. And we see that the spread has gone down a point. The Nets getting 3.5 points against the Celtics. Is this a series where you expect the public to be on the Nets?
I do. I mean, we've got an interesting situation with our business and most of or all of the regulated betting options that we're live in New York and we're not live in Massachusetts. So there is a conscious bias with our customers towards the Nets. So we know we're going to see more money for the Nets. But what it is going to be is a great series. It's I think it's one that's going to bob up each way, and I think whoever wins this is going to go a long way in the East.
Jason, when you look at this series, we keep saying, and it really is true, it's essentially what could be an Eastern Conference final because of the talent level on both sides of the basketball. Are series like this harder to cap than other series, or is it just a matter of looking at the numbers?
No, it's probably the easiest. It's much easier to handicap a game where you've got a spread sort of between under 5 than some of these games of the 78th game of the year where it's 17 or 19 or 21. They're a nightmare. It's much easier for bookmakers when it's close.
So looking at the rest of the NBA playoffs, are there any sharp bets that you guys have taken that we should be aware of? Because we normally ask you where the sharp money is headed. I know it's kind of an open-ended question, but are we seeing any sharp play either in the futures market or on these individual games or series?
Yeah, it's probably too late for me to tell you this, but we did see a good sprinkling of sharp money for the Timberwolves last week. Obviously, they've now gone 1-0 up, so any value there and the price is gone. But now we saw that both for the first game and for the series. That was probably the most popular one last week. There was good money yesterday for the Suns as well, but certainly the Timberwolves have been the one.
Jason, when you look at this Sixers matchup against the Raptors, and you have so many guys, so many important pieces of that Raptors lineup that are doubtful for this game, how do you build that into the number? I know it's a high number because right now the Sixers are laying 7.5 points at BetMGM, but what goes into you putting that number where it is?
Yeah, well, there's also the complication that it's a playoff, and that teams can rise for one game, and obviously teams that are down have a better record in this second away game. Look, we sort of see, touch, and feel. We make a determination of how many points we think it should be. Then we let the market tell us. If we go too far, we start seeing money on the other side. It's an interesting one, obviously, because the 76ers really need to win because of the COVID situation with traveling to Canada.
Right, and I should note that it's also National Velociraptor Awareness Day, and I feel stupid for even saying this, but we have seen this before. On National Beer Day, Seth Beer hit a game-winning walk-off home run. On National Peacock Day, the Peacocks of St. Peter's came away with a win against Kentucky. So just a fun little note on the side, not really a question. Let's move out to the West.
I will remember that, Chelsea. You're the only person that told me about the Peacocks afterwards. So you forewarned me this time, so thank you.
Yeah, brace yourself because maybe the Raptors are stealing your coins today. Let's look out west at the Suns, where no number seems to be big enough. I think this looks like the most lopsided matchup, maybe the Hawks and the Heat. But looking at the Suns, do you think making this number even bigger? Like, what is the mindset when trying to handicap the Suns against the Pelicans? Because it looks so lopsided.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things there, isn't there? Because the Suns have got the recent record of sweeping last year. So we know that they're not, we saw last year they didn't let up. They like to have the break and win early. So, again, we put the line up. Will the Pelicans sort of, have a push back in the second game? We've seen a little bit of money at the -9.5, hence we've had to juice the line a little bit to -115. I'm a bit with you. It wouldn't shock me if this ends up 11.5 or 12 by tip-off.
Jason, when you look at futures that you have sitting there at BetMGM, where are your liabilities right now?
We're actually in a pretty good spot.
Okay.
The Hawks are by far our worst. Other than the Lakers, they were the worst. The Suns are our second worst and really the only loser in the West. And the Nets are no good either. But, we can't complain about our position. The Lakers and the Clippers sort of helped us out there.
Yeah, and then let's switch to baseball just for a minute. I know it's only, a week or two into the season. Are there any notable futures bets that you guys have taken when it comes to baseball in the World Series?
It's pre-season. It's kind of like the Dodgers and their continuous signing of players took the momentum out of the market. We wrote some good bets on the Mets early. We always see money for the Yankees, but again, that's a little bit of our having a business in New York. But no, the big bets have all been for the Dodgers.
Okay, Jason, before we let you go, we always ask you for your best bet. So what do you like tonight?
Yeah, we go off the reservations. As you know, I'm usually a totals guy, but I think the Nationals will beat the Diamondbacks tonight and probably beat them easy. I'd take the -1.5 spread at +145, and we'll get some plus money tonight for the Nationals.
I like that quite a bit, especially when you're on my Nationals. He is the Vice President of Trading for BetMGM, in charge of setting the lines and prices at the book, and you can hear him each and every Monday here on the show. It's our good friend Jason Scott. Jason, thank you so much.
Hey, just before I go, for any hockey bettors, the favourites are 22-0 since Friday. So if you want to get on the momentum, that's where you need to be.
Can you say that again? I didn't understand, Jason, and I'm a hockey bettor, so I have to hear this.
Favourites are 22-0 since through the weekend.
Is that right?
If you want to get with the team, that's where you need to be.
Ooh, all right. Take that into account. I saw, it's so funny you said that. I saw that yesterday. I thought every single favorite won, but I didn't realize it had been 22-0. So thanks so much, Jason.